And that, gentlemen, is how the digestive system works. So, let's move right along now. Does anybody know what a penis is? Well, I'll draw it for you. And when you're in love, the penis becomes erect. And when you're not, the penis becomes flaccid. Now, when your feelings are on the fence and you're not really sure whether you're in love with a person or not, then you get something called a half boner or the chubs. Let me show you a video, and that will help you understand, okay?
I recently marathoned Tim and Eric Awesome Show.
Great job.
And I couldn't help but notice how it uses sound to tell a joke. While film is both an audio and visual medium, visuals have been the dominant focus of both the audience and filmmakers. This is despite films with great visuals and bad sound often being amateurish, while films with bad visuals and great sound often being praised. Even when sound is the focus, it's mainly relegated to music and dialogue, rather than other aspects of sound design. Sound design doesn't have to be invisible.
My name is Tim Heidecker.
My name is Eric Wareheim. Welcome.
Tim and Eric Awesome Show was a sketch comedy show on Adult Swim, running for 5 seasons from 2007 to 2010. During that time, not only did they push the boundaries of what is or isn't comedy, they would go on to inspire some of the best comedians, shows, and let's face it, memes of our time.
Nude Tane.
This is not suitable for work. Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh!
I'm okay.
Regardless of if you find them funny or not. Tim and Eric undeniably use the full spectrum of sound to find comedy. While the whole show uses a wide array of comedic styles, the type of sound effects Tim and Eric use fall under 3 categories of comedy: cringe, farce, and satire. Cringe comedy works from our knowledge of social norms, or what is or isn't socially acceptable behavior. Tim and Eric actively seek out what isn't acceptable behavior. For example, I don't know about you, but I have a thing about hair in my mouth. So seeing a sketch like Candy Tales threatens to break me, and I can't even close my eyes because I can still hear this. They attach some of the grossest sounds to the already cringe-worthy sketches. At least one of them will threaten to make you quit. If it's not the body gore, father-son relationships, or food, it will be something. Their use of cringe and farce may seem the same because they use in tandem, like their favorite sound, this wet, fleshy sound effect.
That's nice. Feels good. Just in case I'm put some on my lips.
Boy, that soothes. That soothes real good.
It's cringe because it's always attached to something with the body. It's also farce because it calls attention to itself. Farce comedy is about using exaggeration and absurdity.
Excuse me, one more thing, Tim.
The difference between their use of cringe and farce can be seen in many of their opening sketches. Because you can't turn up a situation that's already at its peak, their sketches usually start mundane and ordinary. Once the world is set, a third element is introduced, and with it a sound. Their farce sound effects can also be heard anytime they prolong or repeat a sound over and 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 over. They even reduce words to sound effects.
I hate these old men. I hate these old men. I hate these
Old
men.
old brain. Farge.
Wow.
Farge.
Wow.
Farge.
Hi.
Farge.
Wow. Rim.
While one of Tim and Eric's goals is to gross you out,
Success.
another is to parody and ridicule forms of media like infomercials, local news and commercials, MTV culture, and sitcoms, just to name a few. Parody and ridicule are features of satire along with irony. All three Tim and Eric use in spades. Take their sketches to the internet. Or what I call balloons.
This weekend I had some Indian food. And then Mexican food.
Watch this. Hey, Eric. How...
Both use sound or the lack of it to tell a joke that wouldn't be there with just visuals or dialogue. I will quickly mention the songs in Tim and Eric are only second to the Flight of Conchords.
If I could travel in time sometime, I'd travel to the end of all of mankind.
Just because I'm focusing on their sound effects doesn't mean they don't use music to find comedy as well. While watching Tim and Eric, I couldn't help but think of Monty Python and their mutual sense of humor and visual presentation. I also thought of Monty Python's limited budget and how it led to the infamous coconut for horses scene. Tim and Eric embraced their limited budget by purposefully using low quality style and even bad sound to find a joke. Sound effects are tools at the filmmaker's disposal. This is one of the reasons why I find Tim and Eric's awesome show so refreshing. All the sounds are directly related to something in the scene, and they use them with clear and creative purpose. Used correctly, sounds can build your world and give the audience information beyond the visuals. Not only do Tim and Eric push the boundaries of film, they show how sound effects can effectively be used and how to find comedy through sound. If you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date for more videos like this.
Exactly.